I am Blair Pride. I was born May the 25th, 1930, on Charity Street in Bethel. And I've lived in Bethel all of my life except for when my dad was transferred to Flint, Michigan during World War II to a tank plant. And then the 4 years I was in the service in the Korean War. So I've been around Bethel a long time and seen a lot of changes. My dad worked at Fisher Body for most of my life. That's when he was transferred to Flint, Michigan. He was working at Fisher Body, but then when he got back from that, he bought Gray's Insurance Agency, and that's what he finished up the rest of his life at Gray's Insurance. My mother, she was stay at home until had the insurance, and then she helped in the insurance business.
But she gave piano lessons.
Yeah, she gave piano lessons, but I never could learn to play. Back then, we had to make up our own. Baseball things, we had to build our own fields and things like that because they didn't have all this knothole stuff in that. And we did that, and then in the wintertime we played outside, just enjoyed the outside more. And we didn't have the computers to keep us active.
Yeah.
We had to do our own activities, so always had a good time growing up. The fire department was all volunteer at that time, and the schools was, well, I graduated from Bethel, so I've been there all of my life. But they was a small town, friendly people. We always enjoyed it. As I was telling you earlier, we had over 7 grocery stores here at one time. The Kroger was here, an A&P store, had 3 dry goods stores, 2 creameries, 2 feed mills. So Bethel was pretty well a booming town back then.
So you guys didn't really need to have to travel up to Amelia or Beachmont.
No,
Everything was there.
I've still got a coat it's pretty well worn out that I bought from Frank's department store.
Wow.
That's been a long time ago.
Put that one in the museum, huh?
Yep, not good. Well, when I was a teenager, Blue Haven, and then they had a pool hall. We used to spend some time at Jake's Pool Hall, and it was right in the village. And then it moved out on Spring Street, there, where the township garage is. That used to be the pool hall.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time there, and going to the movies. Didn't go very often, but went once in a while. Had Love's Restaurant, which is next to Community Christian Church now, across from where the hardware store is. And we used to go there on Sundays a lot of times with my parents and that. My dad was mayor of Bethel for 2 terms and that, but there used to be a Dr.
Dr. Colley.
Well, the
Davison.
older one.
Davison.
He was 100 years old, so proud.
Was it Thompson?
Yeah.
Jessica Thompson, yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't he a dentist or not? Or
No, he was a regular doctor.
Regular
He was
doctor.
practiced over 100 years old. And, well, Witchard's, they're still in business. That's about the only business place that's still in business is when we was growing up.
Yeah.
And had some attorneys that I remember, and Hugh Beck had a store here in town. I can remember him. Tippy Foster had Foster's department store, and Margolis had his department store here in town. Scott had the drugstore, and Gaskins had a drugstore here. So that's some of the people I remember. Ben West was the attorney. Dr. Harry Norris was the only veterinarian
Okay.
in town.
Now we got 5 or 6 of them, right?
Oh yeah, every corner's got a veterinarian now. Some of the things was that they widened the streets. They cut down a lot of the trees that was on Plain Street. We've seen put sewers in, and just everything's getting modernized. I guess, well, we had 3 auto agencies here in town too. They've all been done away with.
Yeah.
And we had theater, and then it changed to Kingpin Bowling Alley. It used to be in the KFP building on where the post office was. Right in Bethel there where,
The building's not there anymore.
you know, it's across from where the Village Hardware is,
Mm-hmm.
right across there. It's a 2-story building, that's where the post office is
Okay.
too. That's where I started carrying mail from that building.
Okay.
And back then, they still had the old outhouses. So that's one of the big changes.
Oh,
Getting
yeah.
modern bathrooms. That's always a big change. People were more friendly then. You knew, I knew about everybody in town back then. And you don't do that now. And it's a transit, like every other city. It's, a lot of people move in and out and that. But back then they stayed put, like I have here
Yeah.
so far. And I miss that part of it. And I miss just going to neighbors' houses and visiting that, which you don't do anymore. Sunday used to be a big day. You used to go for a Sunday ride back then. But now, computers and all the iPhones and all that's taken over all that part.
Mhm.
People don't even visit each other. They email or text message them.
They'll be in the same room and do that.
That's
yeah.
right. So things have changed a little bit. Not all of it for the good. Bethel used to be a dry city, village. I hate to see it change to how it has. I can remember growing up, a friend of mine, and we lived on Charity Street, and his dad had a junkyard down, used to be across from the old, where the old swim club was, if you know where that is. And we used to play in his junkyard and build things out, some of the old cars and things like that, and I enjoyed that. And go swimming in the old creek down there. My mother didn't like that, but we'd do it every once in a while. So we had a lot of fun that way. And I can remember cutting fence posts for his dad. Locust post with a 2-man buck saw. You wouldn't know what that is, an axe. And that's what we cut them on. They've got a nickel for each post and 10 cents if we had a corner post. So, and that was hard work.
You guys are rolling in the money, yeah?
Yeah, that was old money. And then a mowed yard. And that was with an old reel type lawnmower.
That's hard work too. My
That's
dad's
hard
got one
work.
of those.
And
Yeah.
had to go with a sickle to get the planting down after that. So, but my mother always had a garden and that, so I had to work in that. So, some of the things like that, a lot of memories, a lot of memories. Well, the best way I'd like to be remembered is a Christian. If I could be remembered that he was a Christian man, that's the main thing. So that's the biggest thing I want to be remembered by.
Absolutely.
And I hope I live that way. 100 years from today, well, I hope the Lord's came back with that, but the way the country's going. But just remain faithful to your word, faithful to your spouse, faithful to your country and God. That's what they need to be. Put that above all else. Not worry about all the money that you can make, things like that, but just learn to be happy with what you have.